Oh my gosh, it's Sunday night. It must be time to talk wrestling. But first, we gotta go ahead and play that intro. It's the We Book It podcast. The boys are in the building. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I am your host, Virgil. Bailey has a BBL. I have with me tonight Coachman as a staple. He is going to hold it down for us. And of course, we have Killy Willie, Killy Vanilli, Killian in the house today, serving up, pinch hitting for your boys, the We Book It boys. You are one of us, Kill. I forgot to tell you that too. So, I mean, like I said, you're considered a We Book It boy.
I know. I'd be lost in the sauce. I'm not here as much as I should be.
Yeah, but hey, man, look, you're here today, and we are going to talk some wrestling. A lot happened this week. It was a really good week for wrestling again. I think we are coming on. I just can't remember the last time, guys, that we've had wrestling like that's been this exciting for this long to keep your attention, where it's almost like you got to watch Monday Night Raw, you got to watch Tuesday Night NXT, you got to watch Dynamite, and you got to watch SmackDown. And it's
Say his name and he appears.
I believe in
Joe Hendry.
Come on. It's perfect, bro. He's so over.
Oh my gosh, he's so over. He's so
It's
over.
beautiful.
He actually has a segment on here as well. We're going to get to him a little bit later. But the first and foremost thing, fellas, how y'all doing? How's everything with you guys?
Doing good. I've been out in the sun all weekend, so hopefully I get a tan finally.
Yeah. I hate to inform you, but it ain't happening, Coach.
I mean, look at the difference here. All red, white. It's
Oh,
gonna
wow.
happen someday, though.
There you go. There you go. Killy
Someday.
Vanilli, what's up, brother?
What's up? That's a real redneck. Let me tell you. But no, I'm good. I just been working a lot, but I've been definitely keeping up with my wrestling. Again, I've been saying this for the last 2 years. Wrestling's better than it's ever been, and every week just gives me more of a leg to stand on. Like I just can't wait till January when it hits Netflix. I just can't imagine what Triple H got in store. I really can't.
Oh my gosh, that first show on Netflix.
Oh, I can't wait.
Different.
I better see some boobies.
JR, look, puppies.
By God.
Oh, man. All right. Speaking of puppies, let's talk about one of the biggest dogs in the business right now. She is as important to the women's division, and her return was imminent. We are talking the return of one Rhea Ripley. I want to start off, folks, with explaining to y'all that this woman has not really been seen since she's relinquished her championship. And then obviously Becky Lynch won the championship through a tournament. And then obviously Liv Morgan took that championship from her. But Rhea Ripley, and I think this is how you could tell that Rhea Ripley is a true star, because even though she was gone, she was not missed. She was constantly mentioned. The Judgment Day constantly kept her in focus. And even though you knew her return was imminent and looming, you felt her presence there, even when she wasn't. People were keeping up with her on social media. Obviously, she went ahead and got married to Buddy Murphy, Buddy Matthews, to the dismay of Fritos. But again, she has been relevant even in being out. So, I mean, like I said, I am, for one, very, very happy to have her back, but we never really missed her because she was never really fully gone. But it was just taste here and there. Oh, what's Rhea gonna think about this? Oh man, Rhea's not gonna like what Daddy Dom is doing right now with Liv and all of these different things. What did you guys think when you saw Rhea Ripley return on Monday?
I honestly, like, I wasn't expecting it. I really was expecting, like, when they were in the little spladle position or whatever they were in, I was expecting them to actually kiss and then it carry on a little longer to where when she did come back, I was like, oh, okay. And talk about the never really able to miss her. I do think you are right, but I think that they're doing the same thing with Roman. Just Roman just meant a little more to where everybody's gonna naturally miss him more, to where it's gonna feel like he's more missed than Rhea. And Rhea's absence was unexpected. No one expected her after WrestleMania to drop the title and have to be gone, to where it's like, oh, we weren't expecting this, and how they're writing it all of it put together, it was hard to miss her in general. But part of that is with how Triple H is writing it, and he's doing the same logic with Roman. It's just different because of what Roman does for the company, and with everything going on with the storylines, also with the Bloodline, to where part of it is Triple H, part of it is how big Roman is, and part of it is there wasn't a big space either. Rhea wasn't as gone as long as I thought she would be. I didn't think I would see her till SummerSlam.
Correct. Me too.
Yeah, same here.
To where it's like, if they would have gave it maybe another month, we might have missed her a little more.
Mm-hmm.
But
well, I think with just how the storyline's going, the anticipation of her coming back was always at a high, no matter what, because you just were expecting her to catch Dom and live in some situation like she did when she came back. For me, at least, I want to know how, because if you remember, technically in this story, Liv's technically the face with how this all started, because Rhea injured Liv to start this whole revenge tour and everything, and now they've kind of flipped. Curious to see, are they going to try and get Liv to be that heel that people are still drawn to, or is it just going to be, okay, now that Rhea's back, we're just fully set on being with her and don't care about Liv? It's very interesting how it's going to go. So I want to see how that plays out, but really excited to see how this story goes, because I think it's a really good job with a crap situation they were dealt with Rhea's injury, that they have turned it into something that people won't keep talking about and want to keep watching.
And I agree, and they're building this to SummerSlam. Obviously, they're going to wrestle at SummerSlam, whether it's a custody ladder match for Dominic, whatever they do. Whatever they do, Liv's gonna win again. If with what's going on, Rhea's supposed to be a babyface. Again, it's wrestling logic and how to build babyfaces. You got to have them chase. Rhea can't just come back and then just get what she wanted when she comes back. Liv's got to actually take that shit. Liv's got to have it, and then when Rhea tries to come get it, she can't get it right away. And again, there's some finagling going on with the Judgment Day. I don't know with the Damian Priest stuff, what they got going on, to where that can implode at any moment. But it's like, I think she is a babyface right now, because again, the fans were waiting for her. Like, how dare Dominic go against Mommy? Like, how dare he? And that's what's so crazy, is like that's partly why I love Vince Russo's, because he started the whole, a bad guy can do good things and a good guy can do bad things, and to where this is the most ever in my lifetime where there is as many tweeners. Like, again,
Yes.
if we really think about it, Drew is right about everything. Drew should be the good guy. But it's just like but with how they write it and with how great Punk is and everything, they're able to do it the way they're doing it. And Drew can get cheered in certain instances but get booed in other instances, because they're able to do the tweener thing with a lot of people, because it's real life. Good people can do bad things, bad people can do good things, and to where Rhea is her personality is really a heel thing, but just whatever obstacles you put in front of her and how much she has to chase for it is what makes you a babyface or a heel. It's just how easy things are. It's all of this.
The greatest thing that you can do is have someone chase, and the same should be said for Roman. So early 2006, Batista had to relinquish the World Heavyweight Championship, and he was set to come back, and he made his return kind of around this same time, right after July 4th, right around the Great American Bash. He took out Mark Henry, and then after he took out Mark Henry, he set his sights again on the World Heavyweight Championship. which was at that time held by King Booker. And literally, they feuded, they fought in real life, and on top of that, like I said, they did business together and main evented 3 different pay-per-views. But the chase is really what you want once you get the title. And I think, guys, if you hear a lot of people saying stuff about like, well, Cody Rhodes isn't as great now as he was last year or the year before, well, that's because the chase is always better than the payoff. Like I said, it's the chase that really sinks, that you can sink your teeth into. I followed Cody Rhodes from Springfield to Chicago, from Chicago all the way to California just for the chase. I was there for the love of the game Hell in a Cell match against Seth Rollins. I was there at WrestleMania when he got screwed by Solow and Roman. I was there for all of that. So by the time WrestleMania 40 happened, that TikTok that got all those views of me celebrating with Cody when the first time Samantha Irvine called him the new WWE champion, that was real raw emotion because I bought into it. I was there. I watched Solo run through the crowd in the black hood after he had already been thrown out and come back and hit that man with the Samoan spike, and then Roman run the ropes, and then catch him with the spear. And I felt the air at SoFi stuck up out the arena completely when the ref counted to 3. And you're just waiting on something to happen, somebody to walk out and be like, no, we're not going to do this like this. Not at WrestleMania. Restart the match. But no, Roman goes to the ramp, pyro, off air, and he walks out. And then Cody just sits there in the middle of the ring.
Rubber chicken.
So, and the rubber chicken. Sorry about that. But
rubber chicken.
But you know what I'm saying, what I'm trying to get at here is the chase is what matters most. So Rhea Ripley's return will only be as important as her chase. And if they do it right, they need to throw another obstacle in her way. And that obstacle, and I mean, I guess this is gonna kind of lead into what we're going to talk about next. That obstacle needs to be Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany Stratton does not need to go after the WWE Women's Championship. Tiffany Stratton needs to go to Raw and be that next obstacle for Rhea Ripley. So with the return of Rhea Ripley, we move right on over into Tiffany Stratton. So obviously she shows up on SmackDown. She gives her first address as Tiffy in the Bank, and as she's doing so, she names drops the NXT Women's Championship. She names drops the WWE Women's Championship, and she name drops the Women's World Championship. Personally, to me, when I'm looking at where they're going with television and their writing and what they're doing, SmackDown is stacked with the women's division. You got Jade Cargill, you got Bianca Belair, and neither one of them have been on TV. Neither one of them have been on TV for weeks now. Like I said, so they're just waiting in the wings. You obviously have Bayley, who's establishing herself as a champion, which, by the way, I thought she had the best promo of her reign this past week when she started reminding people of just who the hell she is.
Mm-hmm.
I guess because I mean, again, if for anybody that's watched this program, you know I was not in love with Bayley being WWE champion. I was actually ready for them to take the title off of her, but I'm looking at the landscape of how things are going to go, and I think Bad Blood would be the perfect time. Rhea versus Liv, and then literally they beat the hell out of each other. They have some type of grudge match. They beat the hell out of each other, obviously, and then but Rhea's hurt, and then Tiffany Stratton comes out and cashes in that Money in the Bank, and she would look so phenomenal with that Women's World Championship. Not to mention her boyfriend is also a Raw superstar as well,
Louis Kaiser.
So, like I said, what do you guys make of Tiffany Stratton? And you're hilarious. What do you?
Dude, that
what do you
was
guys
so
make
good.
of, what do you guys make of Tiffany Stratton and her chances, opportunities, and everything? Her presentation right now. What's going on with Tiffy in the Bank?
Go ahead.
Well, I think you can go either way with it, honestly, because you can build that tease of her and Nia being like this team if Nia beats Bayley at SummerSlam for the title, then you could have that, oh, when is she going to turn on Nia? When is she going to cash in? And I mean, you could hear the crowd's reaction when she really thought about cashing it in. And they were like, that pretty much showed that she might be a baby face. But to your point, Virgil, I think with Raw going to Netflix, they want that star power, and it could definitely be like what you said. I do think Liv and Rhea are probably going to do a 3-match. Like, they're going to have 3 matches and then something to kind of end that feud. Bad Blood will be the last match for sure.
Blow off, yep.
And it's very interesting to see how they go with it. But I can see either or, with her staying on SmackDown, and they tease the Nia and Tiffy rivalry by turning Tiffy face, or they keep her in that heel persona and move her over to Raw when they go to Netflix. Because I think that'll probably drive up viewership for Netflix if she's the champion on Raw. Let's be honest.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And
again, you give Rhea another obstacle, someone to chase. Go ahead, Kill. My bad.
No, you're good. And it's like, I agree with everything both of y'all are saying. And I think it would be amazing. But part of why I don't think it will happen is because how they're setting up the Nia thing and the Bayley thing. Nia and Bayley are going to have a match at SummerSlam. Nia's going to kill Bayley, and then Bayley's going to somehow squeak it out. Nia's going to kill her again and then walk out. Tiffany's going to walk out, cash in, be the champion. That is just how I see it happening. It's just wrestling. Again, that's just what I see happening. But another thing is, if Tiffy goes to Raw, especially for this Netflix thing, we are going to start having the thing where Raw is just going to be so much more important than SmackDown, in the sense of, other than Roman, SmackDown really just has Randy and Kevin. Like, well, they have Cody because he's the champion, so I got to remember that. But Raw is stacked, like absolutely stacked. It is. It's they got Seth, Drew, Punk, Braun, Ilya, Sammy, and it goes on to where I think there will be an overstacked problem.
The Yeet Man themselves too, brother. Come on, man. You can't forget Yeet.
Yeet. Come on now. I can't forget him either. See what I'm saying? There's so many people you just forget about him. Yeah, and so where if Tiffy goes to Raw, that Tiffy's their biggest star power other than Cody right now, and LA Knight maybe. Tiffy's the most over person on SmackDown, to where I don't know if they can afford to not have Tiffy have the title on SmackDown when this whole contract goes out, to where they need a star woman champion on USA, because Liv and Rhea and Becky and probably Charlotte. Charlotte might go to SmackDown to feud with Tiffany. That's why they might keep Tiffy on SmackDown, because when Charlotte comes back, she's a SmackDown girl, and that's going to be Tiffy's obstacle.
Kill. You are forgetting. You have Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill on SmackDown.
And you got to understand, I think Jade's ceiling is higher than Bianca's, but Bianca is not as green as Jade right now. Jade isn't ready to be a world champion.
But she's ready to feud for a world championship. And honestly, for them, they don't even have to feud for a title. And you also got to remember, there's the creeping suspicion that and there's rumors going around, WWE just signed a couple of more females, and on top of that, they got the Intercontinental and the Women's Intercontinental and the Women's United States Championship coming. So, like I said, you're gonna have those second tier titles to fight over too, to make it mean more.
I don't disagree. But with how they're riding the Raw Super Girls and then the SmackDown girls, Rhea and Liv are twice as over and has twice as many eyes as Jade and Bianca. I'm looking at the interaction on Instagram. In 8 hours, Liv and Dominic's segment has like 10 million views. There ain't nothing Bianca and Jade are doing right now that get nearly that many eyes.
That's because they're not doing nothing right now.
And I agree with you, but again, even if Jade turns on Bianca or they do some crazy tag team feud, like again, they're doing a better job about getting me to care about the women's tag team titles. But at the end of the day, nobody cares about the women's tag team titles. Nobody does, and that's just the truth. I fast forward through the Scottish girls every week, other than just to watch the ginger girl talk because I think she's cute. That's it. And again, that's every guy. That's almost every dude except the neckbeards. And I just being real. To where the only thing getting guys to stop watching, the only thing that's getting guys to not fast forward through women's segments right now are Rhea, Liv, Jade, Bianca, and Tiffy. And if you're gonna have Rhea and Liv on Raw, you gotta have Tiffy on SmackDown. And it's not like I'm disagreeing with you, because I think it would be awesome everything y'all are saying.
Chelsea Green as well on SmackDown is making a name for herself.
And she's awesome. She's over, but it's like she's somebody that I don't see being a champion over the other 5 people that I named.
Right.
Where it's like she's gonna be the most over mid-card girl ever. So she's gonna be one of those girls. She doesn't have to win a title. Wrestling doesn't matter. It's about everything she does outside of the ring.
But and she can hold that secondary championship. She can hold that secondary championship and make it mean something. She can be your Miz of the women's division.
And again, maybe I'm a hater, but it's like I don't want WWE to be AEW, bro. Every person that's gonna come out is gonna have a title, and that shit's lame. That's the only thing, dude. Like the girls' North American title, I can live with it. Whatever, do y'all thing. Y'all are the developmental company. 800,000 people are watching it a week. Who cares? When it comes to the main roster stuff, you're gonna have both men's titles, both tag team titles, the girls' tag team titles, both girl titles, then the other girl titles, then the other mid card titles. You're going to have 12 or 13 titles roaming around. And this is getting pretty hypocritical to the things that I was shitting on AEW about. Having the Atlantic title, the trios titles, every title under the sun. And WWE has more titles. And I know they have the brand split and it's a little different. But I don't need to see a champion every segment because it's like it takes away from what a championship means. If I see it everybody have one, it's like, who cares what the title means?
Sure. That makes sense. I get that. I'm not a huge fan of women's mid-card championships either, but I also understand the need for it. Bailey was featured on Cody Rhodes with his Wheatley's vodka. He's now doing a 30-minute podcast through WWE. You can check that out. That's a little thing for WWE. But anyways, he asked Bailey what was one thing that she would change if she could about the WWE and the way that they're booking right now, and she said the way that they're booking women. She said that she wishes that they had more meaningful feuds that didn't necessarily have to revolve around the championship. And I thought to myself, good God, I said that 5 years ago about them when they were talking about the women's revolution. I was like, okay, you're doing a women's revolution, and she did say she wanted to see another women's revolution. All female PLE. So, like I said, and Cody's the man. So he said he thinks, quote unquote, he thinks that something like that's going to end up happening again real soon, or close to something like that happening. But she said that, that like I said, that she just wishes that they book the women to fight for something, and it not necessarily have to be a title. Which I'll tell you this. I forget. I get so caught up in the fight for Dom Mysterio, which is the wildest phrase I ever thought I would say. I get so caught up in the fight for Dom Mysterio in this feud between Rhea and between Liv that I totally forget
that there's even a title involved.
That there's even a title involved in it. That's how good the writing is. That's how good the execution is.
And I agree with you, but it's just like part of that is like. I'm sorry, and it sounds crazy saying this because wrestling needs women, but it does not need to be 50-50. It's crazy. It would be crazy. This is a male sport.
We ain't never gonna get no women sponsors on this joint.
But I mean, that's fine. But if you want me on here, I'm gonna keep it a buck. And again, I'm just gonna say what people don't want to say is that this is a male-dominated sport, and this was created by males. And it's males even allowing the girls to have this much time, and it's their sport. If girls want to have this much TV time, then just go start your own federation. and people will watch it. If you want it to be 50-50, this isn't. You guys, the men allowed you guys to even have this much time. And it's like, if men really cared, Rhea Ripley wouldn't even be a thing. Rhea Ripley outsells everybody but Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes. Rhea Ripley is the third biggest thing about WWE. She is. She's outselling CM Punk, and these aren't my feelings. These are just facts. To where
facts, no feelings from Killy Willie.
Come on now, to where Liv is more over than most of the men roster right now. To where when Tiffy, I want her on my TV. I want these women on my TV, but I don't want it 50-50 because the gap between the worst man and the best man is not as big as the worst woman and the best woman on the roster. Mid-tier women's wrestling, and this isn't just with wrestling, this is with combat sports too. I love UFC, but unless it's the main event girls, they are not good fights. And again, unless it's the main event, it's not. And unless it's the main event women in WWE, the main event women in WWE can go just as good as the men. I'm not taking anything away from them. But the gap between the mid-tier girls is just so big to where it drags down the main event level girls to where you need less women wrestling to get women wrestling over. You just want the best of the best on TV to where those girls that are involved with the girls get nothing but better to where it makes sense when you have more women wrestling on TV.
I feel like you could say that more about AEW women's wrestling than anything.
Well, you could because AEW they give the girls one segment, and that's the segment before the main event. That's it. They do that every week for the last 3 years. The women get the last segment before the main event every week.
It's your women's main event.
To be fair, the Britt Baker Sasha promo was really good. I enjoyed that. I don't like Sasha, but I enjoyed it.
Coach, would you have anything to add before we move on to the next segment?
No, I
All right.
think everything's been summed up.
All right, so we got to talk about the dominance of the new Bloodline. How do you view Solow Sikoa? Solow Sikoa has now been announced as the number one contender for the WWE Undisputed Championship. He will be fighting Cody Rhodes in the main event of SummerSlam, our last SummerSlam that's just one night. From here on out, SummerSlam will be 2 nights. But what do you guys view? How do you guys view Solow Sikoa? What are you guys feeling about Solow's chance here at the main limelight? He is going to be main eventing. He's going to get that main event check. And yeah, I mean, this build to Solow being the guy to go up against Cody Rhodes for the WWE Undisputed Championship.
So it's interesting when this new bloodline was being formed that they were keeping one Jacob Fatu out for so long because this was from reports. They were saying they were afraid that he was going to outshine Solow when Solow is supposed to be the new tribal chief. Friday, it just proved that Fatu should be the tribal chief. I mean, my God, that was amazing.
Him losing those 40 pounds made him different.
Yeah, I was in awe. And I was like, and I mean, Virgil, you know it. I sent it in our group message. I was like, I do not acknowledge Solow. I acknowledge Fatu. Because that man is unbelievable. And I'm wondering, and especially with the reaction that he got out of that from everybody, most of it was positive stuff. Like, yeah, he's supposed to be the bad guy, but everyone's like, oh, he's an actual villain, like that you can actually be afraid of. I'm wondering if there's going to be a shift in the story now with if let's say does beat Solow in SummerSlam, what if this new bloodline is taking their orders seriously of like, oh, well, you lost, and just like you did with your brothers, it's time for you to go now too. So maybe that's something that goes that route, because I do feel like Jacob Fatu has just immediately taken over, and he's got to be the head of this new bloodline. He's got the aura, he's got the moves, and here's the thing: we haven't even heard him on the mic yet. And if it's anything,
and he's a real criminal. He's like an actual badass. Like you don't want to mess with this dude.
Exactly. That's why he's got to be the new leader and not Solo. I never bought Solo as the leader from the beginning just because of what he had done in the past. I mean, you're on a 37 match losing streak after beating John Cena. Like, I can't really buy in that you're going to be supposed to be this new head of the table, tribal chief. But when you got a MFer coming in and just taking out a whole tag team division by himself, like, I can buy into that.
And the thing is, you're making me reword some of the stuff I was going to say because you made a good point I never thought about. Like, when he wins, Solo loses at SummerSlam. If we're going off logic, it's like the people in the Bloodline are gonna be like, all right, you lost, you're coming down, and so someone else has to step up. And I never thought about that. So that's gonna be an interesting dynamic, like really interesting dynamic. But what I will say is when it comes to like the losing streak, that was the first thing I was gonna say is that's where I think the total opposite. This where wrestling doesn't matter, and it's just about storyline. Because yes, he's on a 37 match losing streak. I haven't seen him pin anybody before Cody Rhodes, and I don't know how long, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when Roman comes back, who is the first person I want him to? Who do I want him to come back and kick ass? It's Solo. I want him to go after Solo, to where, yes, he hasn't won anything, but all that matters is the storytelling and how you write somebody. Because Solo is again more over than a lot of guys, and he's getting real heat. Like again, he's getting booed. These aren't pitched in booed. He's getting booed because people don't like him. And again, this is going to be the ultimate baby. It's perfect. This is just building up for Roman to be a baby face. It's the same Rhea thing. It's the same logic, but just on a bigger scale.
Mm-hmm.
And to where it's just like, I don't care about wrestling. Again, I couldn't tell you the last time I saw Solo win a match, and I don't care because everything else he's doing outside of the ring makes me not like him. I'm like, God, I can't wait till Roman comes back and takes back what is his. To where wrestling does matter, and I do agree with you, and that's where I'm like, Jacob Fatu is an actual badass, and like when. No one does a Samoa drop like him. Nobody. He literally jumped up on the second rope.
So beautiful.
He jumped up on the second turnbuckle, jumped on the third turnbuckle, jumped on the top rope, and then sat down, and then did a flip. Nobody that size should move like that. To where Solo can't even get off the ground. So it makes like an eye test. Like, let's say casual, if they're just watching, they're gonna be way more like, who is that to Jacob Fatu than they're gonna be, who is that to Solo. And then they don't know anything about either one of them. My girlfriend, me and her have been talking since May. The first thing I did was tell her, listen, if you want to be with me, you got to watch wrestling. It just has to happen. Like, there's nothing around it. And one of her first thing was when Jacob Fatu showed up, she didn't know anything about the Bloodline other than what I told her. And she's like, that guy's scary. WWE, you're doing the right job. Because it's like, again, my point is when I see casual reactions and it works, perfect. Again, we were at her grandma's house, and her grandma was doing nothing but talking crap about wrestling. You know it's fake. And I said, so is every TV show you watch, so I don't care. And then we were watching Money in the Bank, and literally halfway through the ladder match, she starts getting into it and telling you do this, throw the ladder at him, blah blah blah. The next match was the Sammy Braun Breaker match, and she doesn't know anything about this. We didn't watch the hype package. We don't have premium, so we got to watch ads. She does not know who the babyface or the heel is, and she naturally was cheering for Sammy, not wanting Braun to win. And it's because they write wrestling so beautifully now. And again, when it goes to the Jacob thing, naturally people are going to go to that no matter what. To where what you said, Coach, is 100% right. There's going to have to be some dynamic problem happen between Solo and Jacob because they're already making Tama and then the other one. I don't even know his name. What's his name?
Tonga and Toma
yeah, we don't know.
God. Oh, that's.
But they're already making them as like the Usos, kind of like an importancy to where Jacob's the only person threatening Solo, as Solo is the only person threatening Roman at the time. Because even Jay and Jimmy were like, Solo's gonna take your spot, and they were saying this a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
And to where it's all about storytelling and layers. And again, if we watch the show every week, it rewards you. And this is the first time in my life I've ever been this excited to talk about the storylines in fucking wrestling. Because when growing up, all I did was watch ROH and TNA. As soon as 2009 hit, dude, I was like, my dad was like, I'm not watching this. The only thing he watched was Straight Edge Society. That's the only thing he tuned in to watch. And Santino Marella. It's the only thing he watched.
Right.
and to where you would see things Vince do, just bring up storylines to give good things, and then just cut the legs out of it, and you never see it again. And then just Triple H refuses to do that, and it makes everything so much better.
The payoffs have been much better. I mean, you got to wait a long time. You got to wait a long time for them payoffs. Which, like I said, we will talk about another payoff we've been waiting for a long time in a little bit. But man, I'm super excited for where the business is headed and what he's doing. But I never thought about that, about them kicking Solow out of their bloodline just because he lost to Cody Rhodes, you know, like I said, and them turning on him and being like, hey, this is your last chance. Because I think so.
What if Solow wins? What if Solow somehow wins?
That's unspeakable, unheard of. Don't talk about it. It will never happen. Cody Rhodes will retain this championship all the way up until WrestleMania, where he will then lose. But then again, y'all, I mean, something's got to happen. If you ain't gonna take it off of him at Money in the Bank, somebody's got to come along and beat him for that championship. And to your credit, Coach, Randy Orton might get that 15th WWE championship. And Randy Orton might defend that 15th championship at WrestleMania. And Randy Orton might defend that 15th championship against one GOAT that is retiring one last time. They've always wanted to do it. They can make it happen. My man.
See, that's your dream match, bro. So where's The Rock playing all this? So The Rock don't exist?
Yeah. We'll talk about The Rock.
No,
He's got bloodline business, or if the bloodline if Roman's feuding with the different type of bloodline, so it's bloodline versus bloodline, Rock and Cody can do their thing for the People's Championship.
They don't want to see. Look at Coach's reaction. They don't want to see that. We don't
no, they do. Listen,
we don't want to see
the whole thing. Cody has been the People's Champion. He already planted the seeds with The Rock and told The Rock, listen, you ain't been the People's Champion really in a long time.
You acting like Cody ain't. The money's where he turns heel. He needs to turn heel. Forget him being this.
Yes. The Undertaker has said it. Many have said it. Cody Rhodes' maniacal heel run is going to be money.
The Undertaker, all of us have been saying, not just me. Cody. Everybody's been saying he needs to turn heel because he's a better heel.
That's fair. But right now, he is the American Dream's nightmare, and he is the face of WWE. Like I said, he got. Something has to happen. He has to lose that championship, and something's got to turn him. And it just might be Randall Keith Orton winning his 15th championship and turning on his friend, and causes Cody to go into a deep, dark place, a deep, dark depression, and then he comes out of it by taking out his frustrations on one Randy Orton or one Dwayne The Rock Johnson. I mean, could y'all buy a heel Cody versus a babyface Rock?
No, I don't think I could, because The Rock's a piece of shit. He's the final boss. We're not gonna just forget everything we just know. Cody can be a heel, but it's like it'll be a heel versus heel thing.
That's fair.
I think
I don't know
if it was a heel versus heel.
Huh?
It would be more intriguing if it was heel versus heel.
I agree.
Because it's like he's getting that revenge on what The Rock did to him, and The Rock doesn't even care. Like that, to me, that would be like him stooping to The Rock's level. I think that'd be good. That's good wrestling.
Not gonna lie to you guys. WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Insane.
My wife loves Las Vegas. I might have to save up all my chickens, all my weddings I DJ, all my proms, all my homecomings, and I might have to get us some tickets to go out to celebrate John Cena at WrestleMania 41. I might have to do it, guys, because this WrestleMania
might shape up to boys.
Because this WrestleMania might shape up to be even bigger and even better than WrestleMania 40. If you see,
I was there. 40 was amazing.
40 was the payoff at 39. I thought I was going to get my payoff at 39. I got it at 40.
Nada.
So, I mean, seriously, the LA Knight match, everything I thought that I was going to get at 39, like they did at 40. I was like, son of a bitch. Like, man, I paid all that money to come to California just for y'all to save it for Philadelphia and 40.
Vince said, "You thought, pal."
I had these two Chicos sitting behind me, dude, and they was my homeboys for sure or whatnot. For straight California bread, and they was talking mad trash, like, bro, oh my God, bro, if Cody doesn't win the championship, bro, I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what's gonna do. I don't know what we're gonna do. I'm gonna literally jump off this ledge if Cody loses. If Cody loses, then Cody lost, and we all sat there with our jaws wide open, like, pause.
This isn't even fair, Oos.
Bro, that's what I'm saying, man. Like I get it, but I knew Vince was still booking, and I knew when Rhea Ripley won right before Cody's match, and Cody didn't do no special entrance. I'm like, oh shit, dude, he finna lose. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Some in me was like, bro, he finna lose, bro.
Yeah,
and it happened, bro. But
we should have saw the signs.
Oh my gosh! Speaking of lose, I think Toni Storm might have lost a couple teeth or something when she got attacked on AEW Dynamite this week, but when she was betrayed by Mariah May. And go.
The first thing I'm gonna say is, what the hell is going on with that storyline? Like, I don't know if she's in love with Toni Storm, isn't in love with her. If she's in love with the Asian girl, isn't in love with her. And again, I don't mean to say her the Asian girl, but everybody that knows what I'm talking about knows what I'm talking about. I'm not familiar with her yet. I don't know her whole name. But I see them kissing. I am just totally out of the loop. And the only thing I'm going to say is, like, Tony Khan, what the hell? You're kind of writing, like, early 2000s for the girls. But I don't care because it is good. They're writing it well. To where anything can work if it's written well. Anything.
Sure.
And this is working, especially when you have Toni Storm, who is this heel babyface type of thing, wherever you want to put her. And then now she's babyface because you see her at the end of the show just gushing, teeth not in her mouth, and you don't see her in black and you don't see her in black and white. You see her in full color with full color.
Yep.
To where it's the best cliffhanger they've done in a very long time, and it was with the women in AEW, and that's very surprising. And I enjoy it very well, and it created another star. It's the first women's star they've created in a long time.
What do you think, Coachman?
Well, first thing, Toni didn't watch out for the shoe like she always says, because Mariah came right at her with that. This has been a good. This is setting up the rivalry that I think we all knew was inevitable between these two ever since Mariah May signed with AEW and immediately latched on to Toni Storm. She has just been trying to copy and do everything that she has, and now that she finally reached the pinnacle of winning the Owen Hart Women's Tournament, she saw that as her time to finally establish herself as what should be what she feels like is her rightful place. It's actually funny that people online are comparing this to an old movie from the 50s called All About Eve, which is literally just like how it's playing out between Mariah May and Toni Storm. Mariah comes in, pretty much copies Toni, wants to be just like her, and then once Mariah's reached her full potential, she takes out Toni. That's exactly what happens in that movie. So, I mean, bravo for people will say you're just copying from the movies. Well, movies copy each other all the time anyways, let's be honest.
Art copies itself. Art repeats itself.
Indeed.
Exactly.
Especially the best stories. The best stories are the ones that's worth repeating with different people and you still get involved in it.
In movies and wrestling and everything, most things come from, a lot of people take things from the Bible. Not even getting religious. A lot of stories and a lot of lessons people take from the Bible and they're like just put it into, like Cain and Abel. They can do that with anything. And that's something relatable with a lot of people.
Yep.
I mean, you could look at this as a Cain and Abel situation.
Exactly. My point, yeah.
Yep.
I think it's only promoting Mariah May more because you see that potential in her in the ring, but you just saw her as a background character. And now I think she's a legitimate threat to where maybe she's the one who ends Toni Storm's reign. I could definitely see that happening.
Yep. I agree. I think this was expertisely written by one Tony Khan or whoever he has back there that's booking this, that are helping with the women. If it is still gosh, I'm literally blanking on his name right now, but whoever wrote this, you did a good job. Yeah, like I said, the execution from the ladies, they hit a home run with this. Toni Storm, I knew when she was in WWE, she had potential, but I didn't know she had this much potential to make you care about her characters. There's been multiple times I brought her name up on this show, and it's because she's been doing good work now for about a year and a half, ever since she dropped this new character, and she's won the women's world title. And again, when the star is bigger than the title, and you can't say that about many in AEW, but when the star is bigger than the title, that's when you know you got something right.
My first thing when I see Toni Storm is like, what the hell was WWE doing?
Right.
And again, it doesn't happen a lot in AEW, but and again with Swerve. Now I know Swerve was like half the size he was when he was in WWE, to where he's not as believable physically, but him now at the size he is, written right, I could see him against the guys like Seth Rollins, Roman, Punk. Like I want to see those things to where it's like, why the hell couldn't WWE get this right before? And I don't want to take anything away from AEW, but WWE is the bigger platform, more eyes, better chance to be a star and be in the mainstream. To where,
Yep.
and the same thing with AEW. Like, how the hell do you not write Jay Cargill better than WWE's doing now? And you put her on a 55 win streak, and she still wasn't as big as she is now in WWE.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
again, to where there's stuff AEW does where it's like, why the hell wasn't Toni Storm this over? Because they just let her do her thing, and her thing is better than anybody could write for her.
True. It's very true. Very, very true. All right, guys. Well, it is time for one of our favorite new segments that is a part of the show. Guys, it's time for Who Watch More. Eventually, it'll come up.
It came up for me. I saw it twice.
Okay, yeah, I saw it twice too. Okay, so anyways, we'll get right down to it. So we just talked about my women's wrestler that I want us to watch for in AEW, Miss Mariah May. She put off a great match to win the Owen Hart Women's Tournament and did that by turning on her mentor, Toni Storm. I can only see her profits going up, and she is going to be probably have a match this week on Dynamite or some kind of promo. We haven't really heard her talk much, but I would bet that she is going to kill it, whether it's on the mic or in the ring. Now, going with we're going to do a little TNA NXT crossover, the Rascals getting back together. That was a big and emotional moment for wrestling fans everywhere. They're going to be in action on Tuesday on NXT. Expect high-flying action with only they know how. And it's going to be really great. I'm loving the TNA NXT crossover, Forbidden Door, whatever you want to say. I think it's only benefiting both sides. So, and those are my wrestlers to watch for this week.
I like it. I like it. I think both of those wrestlers were good picks to watch for. I think, like I said, the group coming back together and really giving gosh, I'm blanking on names right now. I see him with the dread. Yeah, Wesley is like literally giving him new life and something else to do. And this group that he's bringing, you could actually see being called up to the main roster and really meaning something up there too. So I think it's great. I really, really, really think that it's great what they're doing. So, moving right along, guys, we're going to go ahead and talk about another crossover that happened. Our man Joe Hendry showed back up in NXT again. This time, main event status. Waiting, like I said, Trick Williams was supposed to be teaming with somebody else earlier in the night. That didn't happen. He got injured, and then obviously Trick Williams is out there by himself, and Vic Joseph and Booker T are on commentary selling that that Trick Williams may have to do this by himself, may have to do it alone until say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. And then he comes out, whatnot. I liked that everybody sang the song. I did not like that they did not go crazy like I thought they should have in the NXT dome. Like
they were waiting for it. That's why
I was kind of pissed about that. I'm like, come on, man, like y'all, like go nuts for this man because he deserves it.
I definitely agree. Have you guys gone down your Joe Hendry rabbit hole yet?
Oh, of course.
Yes.
Okay, because again, my dad's a mark. My dad's just as big a wrestling fan as I am. He's been watching since the 80s. And I showed him. I was like, "Do you know who Joe Hendry is?" He's like, "No." And this was like 4. I was like about 3 months ago. I showed him his music video. That's the only thing I showed him, and he said, "This dude is awesome." and then he goes and watches some of his matches and goes down the rabbit hole. The Queen, the Creed. He does
the Creed,
everything.
yes.
And it's like, dude, when he comes to the main roster, you know what he can do is he can just do remixes of the guy's songs that he's wrestling. So it's like if he wrestled John Cena, just do a remix of "My Time Is Up." It'd be hilarious. Or if he wrestled Randy Orton and he did a Voices remix, fucking hilarious. There's just the he is the most WWE, non-WWE guy I've ever seen in my life. And
that's
again,
a good way to put it. I've never heard that put that way, but that actually is a really good way to put that.
He is the most WWE, non-WWE guy I've ever seen before. And it's just like, as soon as anything is, he got over by himself. He was the #1 song in the UK, literally, like statistically. Like, this isn't even like an opinion. And then my dad has a best friend, and his wife does not watch wrestling whatsoever. Doesn't watch a lick of wrestling. She asked his son, like his best friend's son, "Does Wyatt know who this Joe Hendry guy is? I've seen a lot about him. He is hitting everybody by himself.
Mm-hmm.
He gets more views on WWE's thing than anybody that's actually employed by WWE."
Which he now is a part of the NXT roster, apparently. So I don't know if he had a 2-way deal.
He's definitely signed a contract. He's leaving NXT. WWE is going to poach all of NXT's good talent. Like Moose said what he said. He's probably gone. Jordan Grace gone. Like, and again, too, you're talking about wrestlers to watch for. I would say wrestlers to watch for in the next few weeks. The Motor City Machine Guns. If they come to WWE, they will be the best tag team in WWE. And I'm sorry. That is WWE's weakest position. Is their tag team division sucks.
Them versus Ciampa and Gargano is gonna be money. Those matches are gonna be money.
Oh, I can imagine.
I'm not a big DIY fan. I'm a hater. I'm not taking away anything from y'all guys. I just don't buy them. But
I mean,
I'd buy them more as heels.
Yeah, but you didn't love NXT Black and Gold though, did you?
What? I was at WrestleMania. I was at WrestleMania 32 in 2016, and I went to the ROH show in a hotel where I met Kurt Angle, which was fire, and I got pictures with the Young Bucks. And then literally right after that, we went to the hotel to make sure we could watch TakeOver. Dude, I'm a mark. I could name you like the whole 2011 ROH roster. It's bad. It's not good.
No, the NXT Black and Gold. You wasn't a fan of NXT Black and Gold.
Oh, I was, because that was the best. That was better than the main roster.
Oh yeah, true.
And that's what I'm saying. That's what's crazy. Is that was oh my gosh, 2014 and I'll say 2013 NXT, because Sami Zayn, Cesaro, banger. 2013 NXT to 2017, 2018 NXT, the best wrestling in my life besides 2008 TNA. Like, that's the best wrestling in my life until now. was the black and gold NXT, and I can't help it. And guess what? Triple H and Shawn Michaels were writing it.
Imagine that.
Imagine that.
How do you feel, Coachman, about Joe Hendry showing up in NXT, my man?
Well, first off, I'm going to piggyback on the NXT Black and Gold of fire matchup, fatal 4-way for the NXT Championship. Neville versus Tyson Kidd versus Sami Zayn, and oh god, I'm blanking on.
Was it Bo Dallas?
No, it wasn't Bo Dallas.
Was it KO?
Can't remember who Tyler Breeze. Tyler Breeze,
yeah.
It's pretty.
Yeah. That match was
like he needs to be somewhere wrestling and stop playing video games with Austin Creed.
I think he works for WWE. He might do something with him.
I think he's a producer now.
He just wants to be a producer. He wants to just put his thoughts into it. That's all. He don't want to hurt his body.
Wrestling. He is such a good wrestler, and his character was so good.
When Triple H was writing it, yeah.
Yeah.
True that. But yeah, okay. Now, Coachman, what do you think about Joe Hendry showing up in NXT?
What got me excited for it was, I see again, this is just online stuff that I read, and people, of course, the memes of Joe Hendry and everything. Everyone loves the song, but people are being criticized. They say, oh, well, he only has the song. He doesn't have the in-ring ability and everything. For people who have watched him in the ring, like, we knew what he was capable of. So for me, I was more excited of like, okay, like, come on, Joe, show these guys what's up. Know that you're capable. You're more than just your song and everything. And I thought he did a great job. It wasn't flawless, but it was still good enough to where people were like, okay, I can buy into this guy now. And that's what I think they wanted to accomplish with this match, is not just put him in there for views or anything, but they wanted to put him in and say, hey, this guy's actually legit. Now we can fully buy into what he's going to do, and we'll go from there. I think that was the big thing for that match. And the fact that you have two over baby faces with Trick Williams and Joe Hendry teaming together, some people consider that a dream partnership right there. That crossed off some people's bucket list that they got to see Trick Williams and Joe Hendry wrestle together. But again, focusing on Hendry, it was showing the internet wrestling community like, hey, this guy's more than a song. He can actually wrestle too.
And I agree with you. It's like, my thought was, I can't wait till he has like 3 months in the PC, because he's been trained to wrestle everywhere but WWE. Again, to give him a few months in the PC, again, because it wasn't flawless. He moves just a little bit slow, just a little bit, just a tiny bit, and it's like he just stagnant, which isn't bad. Not everything needs to be fast paced, but it's not like he's choosing to be slow. I think he just is a little methodical when he does stuff, and to where, again, once he's in the PC for a few months, that stuff's going to be gone, to where he'd still be able to throw everybody like he does, so still be able to kick up off his back. And his finisher is awesome. Again, his finisher is underrated because he's not the biggest dude ever. I guess he's a good-sized dude, but that is a big show type thing. The standing ovation, just holding a grown man up in the air before you chokeslam him, is crazy. To where most dudes in WWE don't do that because it's hard. You can't just, if you're the size of Joe Hendry, it's hard to hold somebody your size up like that. To where he's amazing, dude. And again, wrestling don't matter because he's over just off his song.
Yep.
In ring don't matter.
He will figure out what to do when it comes to in the ring, and he will get better, especially like you guys said, with some time in the PC. I hope he goes there and he puts in a lot of work. I hope him, Jordan Grace, and Moose all put in a lot of work if they are NXT bound. Moving right along, though, we got to talk about this because it goes multiple ways. We're talking about Seth and CM Punk going face to face. Obviously, the cliffhanger from last week's Money in the Bank, and even the cliffhanger of this show, was what the hell is going to happen next now that CM Punk has cost, once again, Drew McIntyre the World Heavyweight Championship. And then this time, not only did he cost Drew McIntyre the World Heavyweight Championship, he also cost Seth freaking Rollins the World Heavyweight Championship. And Seth took that personal. So obviously CM Punk starts the show, which can I say, there's nothing better than the Raw opening and then just hearing it, just like it feels right. Just feels right, just having him come out. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed their back and forth. I thought it was hilarious that CM Punk got out of the ring, went over to the commentary booth, stole Pat McAfee's headset, and started having a back and forth with with Michael Cole, because Seth Rollins' entrance just takes so freaking long for him to come out and get to the ring. He's like, we got a couple minutes. I might as well go over here and get my money's worth. So but coming out of that segment, how did you guys feel? What did you guys think? And obviously, what did you? And then I'll add in the Damian Priest portion after you say your piece about this.
You could feel the tension because we've known about this hatred of both of these guys with each other, and that was known long time ago when Seth Rollins was asked the question, what do you think if CM Punk comes back to WWE? And he says, no, stay away. I don't want to. So like that's in the back of people's mind anytime we see them in a ring together. And WWE's been doing a great job of just kind of keeping them separated. And Rollins even said, as long as we're not going to have a problem. Now that Punk is starting to get in Rollins' business, that's where that tension is building even more. Like, you knew there was some tension, but now it's like you just cost Seth the one thing he actually cares about. And then on top of that, you add in Punk bringing in his family about how Drew's taking stuff from his family with the bracelet and everything. I mean, like, it felt real. Like, not scripted. Like, maybe they had bullet points or something that they were going to talk about, but it just felt like they were shooting from the hip, both of them.
And you really believe these two have a genuine issue with each other. And Seth Rollins coming out, and the first thing he's saying is, a surprise, CM Punk once again being selfish. That's a genuine issue. That's a genuine storyline. That's a genuine life problem that many people have pointed at CM Punk and said that he has. Like, hey, bro, you're selfish. All you care about is you. And now obviously he's gone a long way to rehab his image and to prove with helping the younger generations in wrestling to understand that he isn't as selfish as you think. But there's still the rumors around out there. So again, taking reality, taking things you've heard online, taking things that people have said in shoot interviews and things about Phil Brooks and bringing it into your writing is just chef's kiss. It's what causes all of us to really care about this storyline. And again, this gets really interesting. There's a whole nother second dynamic to this, but I'll let you guys talk about the Punk Seth dynamic first. Kill, go. Kill, we can't hear you if you're talking. You muted yourself.
Like he's muted.
I'm back. The first, and the thing is, I'm not even the biggest Seth fan. I'm really not. I think he's great in the ring. I just don't really like his personality. I think he flip-flops between too many stuff. And then the thing he's on now, it gets annoying. Especially as a babyface, it's hard to like him. But I can't tell you any feud he's been in with any main event guy where he was over. He put Cody over. He put Rock. He put Roman. He put Drew over. He puts everybody over to where what makes me believe he's going to beat Punk. There's nothing that's going on, especially with his past, where Seth Rollins isn't the most over guy that's going to put anybody else over. He's the easiest guy to put anybody over because they're not going to stop cheering Seth. Everybody loves him. And it's like, when's the last time he went over in a feud?
You must have missed the whole last year when he was working with Drew
McIntyre.
Yeah, but Drew got the last laugh.
And no, stop. He was world heavyweight champion for almost damn near a year. he didn't lose the title, so you had to put somebody had to put him over.
But he didn't have. But what big like feuds? Like what Punk what Roman, what feud like that did he have where he put somebody?
Okay. So it was him, Finn Balor. It was him, Damo. It was him. It was him and Jay. Or what? Did him and Jay feud for the world title?
I don't think so. No, they never did.
Okay, so I think primarily he was feuding with the Judgment Day. A lot of it was Finn. Was matches against Finn Balor and things like that. And then obviously, like I said, the Damian Priest stuff. Then obviously
his biggest win in the last 2 years was beating AJ Styles. And again, they weren't feuding; they just met in a tournament. My point is, he doesn't ever beat anybody that's more popular, more over, more anything than him. He lost to Cody 3 times in a row.
Well, that's because they had to establish Cody as the man. Beating.
Who did they choose? They chose Seth.
So using Seth as a gatekeeper is the perfect way, though, to use him, because Seth was that exact gatekeeper that Cody had to prove himself to. Then he turned around and helped him win the WWE championship. That's just good writing to me. That's just good writing. I don't want to cake too much for WWE, but what I'm trying to get you to understand is Seth Rollins is the gate. He is your guy that you got to get into the ring with to prove you can go at a main event level. If you want to go from next level, from mid card level to show you're a main event talent, 2 things got to happen. You got to get that crowd reaction first, and the crowd's got to want you and consistently want you. That's one thing about Triple H. He's not just going to give you a main event match if you're a flash in the pan or you're just getting hot for 1 or 2 months. We saw what he did with LA Knight. We saw what he did with other guys. It has to be a long, consistent type of push where the fans are really pulling for you. I mean, hell, Cody Rhodes, the fans help change. If we're led to believe everything that happened in that documentary, the WrestleMania documentary. The fans changed the WrestleMania plans because they wanted Cody Rhodes. But anyways, what I'm trying to tell you is that you got to be able to have that fan reaction, and then secondly, you got to get in the ring with somebody like a Seth freaking Rollins and be able to show you can go to get that main event push. Like I said, and it's just really good to have somebody like Seth that can be that armor bearer, that standard barrier. You need somebody like that to say, like, hey, you're not gonna get main event status unless you go through Seth.
And I don't disagree with you, and I do agree with you. But my point is, as a pro wrestler and as a fan, it's hard for me to believe he's gonna beat any main eventer when his thing is he's the gatekeeper, and every person he's tried to gatekeep, he's lost to. So that's my point. If I would believe it more, I wouldn't care he's the gatekeeper as if he was actually keeping somebody from something. He other than when he was champion, he wasn't keeping nobody from nothing. He usually gets the shorter end of the stick in every feud. And I'm saying that trying to be as objective as possible. I don't even like Seth, but I'm just saying they could write him better to, not even with me, for other people to make him more believable. People naturally like him. But
I liked him when I met him, and he's a Bears fan.
And he's a Bears fan. That's why I like Seth outside of his wrestling. I think he should try to be a little more himself with his personality because it's way more believable. But that's not the point. The point is WWE could have wrote Seth better, in my opinion, because it seems like in the biggest moments he usually shits the bed.
It's a fair argument, fair assessment. And then we move from so now you have the Seth Punk go face to face, right? Could be setting up a match for SummerSlam between these two, maybe, but probably not because I don't think Punk's medically cleared yet. I think they're still holding out hope for that. Then you have the other side of this dynamic where there is the World Heavyweight Championship. Seth wants the World Heavyweight Championship. Drew wants the World Heavyweight Championship. Damian Priest has the World Heavyweight Championship. Damian Priest has a date with Gunther, which, first and foremost, where the hell is Gunther? We're 3 weeks out from SummerSlam, and we haven't seen Gunther in almost 2 to 3 weeks. Where the hell is Gunther? How are we supposed to care about your feud? How are we supposed to believe that you're finna win the championship when all we see is them playing videos of you at the end of shows and everything like that, reminding everybody vignettes of just how great you are? This leads me to believe Gunther is going to lose at SummerSlam.
It better not be a clean finish, because if Damian Priest beats Gunther clean, I will turn off my TV. I promise you.
No, Here's what I think is going to happen. Finn's going to interfere and allow Priest to win. Priest is going to get upset because he wants to do this on his own, thus building the Finn Priest rivalry for the championship.
I like that. And finally, Priest saying, "Skip the Judgment Day. I'm gone. I'm out. You know,
Yeah.
I'm doing my own thing." But yeah, just the way you're not seeing Gunther, and people have been asking Gunther in interviews and everything like that. Like, bro, why would you been on TV? You got a world championship match at SummerSlam, and you ain't even been there. And Gunther's response was, "Less is more." I don't know if he's trying to get that Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns aura about him, but you haven't put in enough time and equity with the WWE main audience. NXT.
Tiffany Stratton has more followers on Instagram than he does. He is not big enough to have that mentality.
Thank you.
Yep,
Like I said,
agreed.
so I mean, you got to be there and put your sweat equity in, bro, to get people to believe you. I still don't think you can carry a promo battle by yourself.
I disagree. Gunther's that boy if he wants to be. He just talks in a different language to where there could be a little bit of a separation. I feel like he is good, and it just comes off different. I feel like he is pretty good in the mic, to be honest.
I feel like if you did to him what you did to Roman Reigns, trial by fire, and put him in the ring with John Cena for a 10-minute promo battle, I think he would lose.
I don't know. He could be like, John, you think you're this good? You think you're all that? The only reason you're good is because someone wrote you that way. I'm actually good. I'm actually the ring general. Like, again, he would be fine. I really think he'd be all right.
I don't think so. I think he would get ate alive. I'm not buying Gunther as World Heavyweight Championship material yet, which is this is news flash, because for the last year I've said Gunther is going to win the World Heavyweight Championship, but I just don't think it's time yet. I think you get too much heat, too many other top Raw superstars that mean more than to put the World Heavyweight Championship on Gunther. You got,
so who's going to be championship going into Bash of Berlin? You think Damian Priest is going to be their champion going into Bash of Berlin? You don't think they're setting up for Gunther to hold the title into Bash of Berlin?
No, because there's no future past that. Who will Gunther feud with once he's done with Damo? Because you're gonna have Punk locked up with McIntyre and possibly Seth, and then like I said, Damian's gonna be locked up with Finn. So like I said, and feuding with the new Judgment Day, which is gonna be JD McDonough, Carlito, Finn Balor the leader, and Liv Morgan playing the role of mommy.
That's cool. That's cool.
That's cool.
That's cool. Yeah. It looks pretty hard. Yeah. It looks pretty hard to me.
I mean, I'm at a place right now where just keep the belt on Damo. I mean, like I said, you can have Gunther. They've proven with how many times they've won and did Clash at the Castle that you don't have to have that person come in as champion, the hometown hero come in as champion and be the conquering hero. The fans are still going to show up. WWE is hot as it's ever been, and fans are still going to show up, and they're going to cheer, and they will cheer Gunther. He will be the babyface in the main event for the World Heavyweight Championship. It'll probably be a triple threat match or something like that, where he doesn't have to eat the fall, but he also doesn't get the win.
I think what they did with the Money in the Bank was perfect. I think that whole storyline was awesome. I don't necessarily like the Money in the Bank, so I think the way they wrote it was perfect. But if we're going to keep the title on Damian Priest, should we have wasted the Money in the Bank? Because who's going to beat Damian Priest for the title? And two, it's like, it feels like they're not giving somebody the Money in the Bank because Gunther's going to beat Damian Priest and nobody's going to cash in on Gunther. And that's just where I think they're going with it. I don't know if I could be wrong, but
no, that makes sense. That makes sense too. That's a valid argument.
And to where it's just like, I don't think they would waste the Money in the Bank if they were just going to keep the title on Damian Priest, because I'd much rather Damian Priest get cashed on than Gunther. Much rather that.
Sure. Yeah. But at the same time, like I said, I just happen to think that they're just not going to put that championship on him. What do you think, Coachman?
Yeah, man, it's tough because I do think in reality it should be a shoo-in that Gunther's going to beat Priest. But with all of these storylines going on around, how does Gunther play? Because I think that's the big thing. Did we just have him win King of the Ring just to give him more adding
Prestige.
to his resume?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then and then build sweat equity with him by having him win the Royal Rumble.
Who says Giovanni Vinci doesn't come cost him a title? Who says they don't have that in their back pocket?
Ooh.
Come on
I
now.
wouldn't be mad about that.
Again,
you could
you could build a babyface with Vinci, or you could build a babyface with Gunther and be like, yo, Vinci's a heel now. You just cost babyface Gunther the title. How dare he? It's the ring general.
Genius.
I think Gunther needs to fall on some hard times. Pause.
Yes.
I think him putting in sweat equity and showing up and being the champion without the championship belt and doing the things that will prove he's willing to be the face of Raw, I think will help him a lot. And then go to that Royal Rumble and win it. Win the Royal Rumble and then challenge somebody at WrestleMania. I mean, it could be WWE Championship. It could be World Heavyweight.
I just can't think of a world where Roman isn't going into a WrestleMania with the title. He's not wrestling for a title. And then Cody's going to lose his title. I'm not saying you're wrong, but based off your booking, you're going to have no Roman title match. Cody lose his title. Like, this is crazy.
Because I know, but think about that. But
wait, Cody doesn't even lose his title. He doesn't even have a title because Randy Orton has the title going into Mania.
Correct. So
that's right.
So Randy Orton being the WWE champion, and I mean it's a you pick him on Raw. It could still be Damo. You could get the title back to Seth. Drew could have the championship, or CM Punk had a belt. Either of them.
Is this 2008?
All over again. But yeah, man, we will keep a watch on that story. But for right now, it's time for our favorite segment of the episode, and I'm gonna try my hand at it this week. We have Fritos Fave 5. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sponsored by no one.
No.
Fritos Fave 5. There you go. All right. So coming in at number 5 for this week, we got him. You can say the initials with me. L.A. Knight. Yeah. L.A. Knight finally has a signed contract, and I love the way that they booked this. So when I do my Fave 5, what's important to me is good story writing or either a really knock 'em out, drag 'em out brawl of a match. For me, I love the way that they put that they're going about justifying giving LA Knight a United States Championship match. It's because he pinned Logan Paul a couple of weeks ago. Mm-hmm. The booking makes sense. People have been clamoring for LA Knight to have a championship. My best friend Michael Milligan will finally be happy because he has his championship title shot at SummerSlam. Yeah. All right. Coming in at number 4, we have, guys, you got to give it up to him. Story writing, he has been the quintessential on Monday Night Raw, holding it down as the underlying story writing. And I would say his name is Dom Mysterio. He not only got the win over his father, first time being able to beat his dad this past Monday on Raw, but then he also turned around and has been the main topic all throughout Monday Night Raw for the last month. Dom Mysterio has been putting in phenomenal work. His character development has been phenomenal. When he turns back face, he is going to be the man. Like I said, and it may end up being him going back to his dad. Yeah, Dominic Mysterio.
It's going to be hard to see a world where he's face. It's going to be really hard.
It's coming. You got to get ready for it. Number 3, say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry showed up on NXT and showed out, and also did great work on TNA this week as well, helping win a tag team match. Also, like I said, Joe Hendry has been putting in phenomenal work. He's been doing interviews. He's the hottest thing in wrestling. Couldn't give him number 1, but I think around number 3 is probably where he's going to sit for a while. He's just been doing great work all the way around and building up all of his following. He's always constantly posting on Instagram, and everything has his music behind it. That way you get those music plugs too. He's a smart businessman. Joe Hendry, watch out for him, guys. He's going to be doing some good business with WWE here in the future. Now, coming in at number 2, number dos, the man that just happenstance to be in every storyline that matters on Monday Night Raw. His name, El Campeon, Damian Priest at number 2. I have enjoyed the way that they have booked Damian Priest. Why? Because Damian Priest not only is the World Heavyweight Champion, he has everybody gunning after him. He's in the storyline with Seth and Drew and Punk. Then he turned around. He has his own separate storyline with Gunther, where he's been carrying that storyline going into SummerSlam. And then on top of that, you turn around and you have him in the Judgment Day storyline, where him and Rhea Ripley, he's the only one out of everybody that stayed faithful to Rhea Ripley. Everybody else was eating the chicken nuggets, playing the video games, enjoying the flat screen TV that comes with the world champ. She helped Finn and JD McDonough win the world tag titles. Carlito's been looking at her nudes. I mean, it's just been one thing after another where everybody else has sided with Liv Morgan outside of El Campeon. And I think him and Rhea Ripley are going to form some type of togetherness together. I don't think it'll be anything like romantically. I just think they're going to be friends that got each other back and fight the Judgment Day against them. So that is why I have Damian Priest at number 2. And then, rounding us off at number 1, we started the show off with him, and we got to talk about him again, guys. His name, Jacob Fatu. The reason I say Jacob Fatu is number 1 this week, guys, and I'm giving him in this spot is because Triple H gave Jacob Fatu a chance to highlight his skills. After the WWE Tag Team Championship match on SmackDown, Jacob Fatu hit the ring and utterly destroyed everything in sight. There was nothing left when he was done. Bloodline didn't have to do anything. Nobody had to say nothing. Nobody had to come out. Nobody had to do nothing. Jacob Fatu took care of everything himself. He has made himself into a big star. I've loved his interviews outside of the ring where he's been talking about how he didn't even really want to do this. He was trying to be a thug and a gangster, but he kept getting caught and going to jail. So he just decided to go ahead and give wrestling a try, the family business. And wouldn't you know, he's the best one of them all.
It's in the bloodline. It's in their bloodline.
He's in the bloodline and potentially is soon to be leader of the bloodline. So we acknowledge you, Jacob Fatu, as our next tribal chief coming up. This has been Fritos Fave 5 by Mike Jones. I hope you guys appreciate it. Fellas, tell me what you think of that Fave 5. What would you give it on the scale of A to F?
All right, I'll jump in since I'm used to grading here. First off, A for effort.
Okay.
But now let's get to the actual grade.
I'm waiting. Don't leave me waiting long.
I will say B+.
Okay, I can accept B+.
You say he's a B+ player. You're giving him authority, Daniel Bryan. Crazy, crazy.
I'll accept it.
You're number 1, slam dunk.
Sure.
Number 1 was a slam dunk. I would have put Joe Hendry at number 2.
Okay.
And as much as I think Priest has been doing a good job and everything, and you brought up some great points for him, I just don't see him as the top 5 for this week.
Okay.
I see him as more of a number 6. So that's where my discrepancy is. But after that, I think you did a really good job.
Thank you. Kelly Vanilli, what would you grade Mike Jones version of Fritos top 5?
I would probably give you a B just because you didn't have Rhea on there. And she came back. She's kind of somebody, again, I think Liv could be on there. Again,
yeah.
I just didn't say this week, but the next few weeks, Motor City Machine Guns, there's someone to look out for. MJF, him turning on Danny Garcia, Mariah May. There's stuff to be looked at. And again, I like Damian Priest, like in the ring and size-wise, he's believable as hell. But he is like bondage Undertaker. That's the realest thing I've ever heard. Like, and it's like just sometimes he has promo class syndrome. Just sometimes. And I feel like Carmelo Hayes. Now I can't stand Carmelo Hayes, but he's all right. But I feel like sometimes he has the same problem too. It sounds like they just left promo class instead of just talking how they talk.
Making it believable.
Yeah, to where it's hard for me to put Damian Priest in my top 5 in anything because I don't even think he's a top 5 Judgment Day member.
Oh, ouch.
Dude, I shit you not, dude. JD McDonough has been surprising me. Dude, he is playing his role. I'm not saying he's better than Damian Priest, but he is executing his role better than Damian Priest is. JD McDonough is better at his mid-card shit heel than Damian Priest is as a main event level guy, especially partly because of how they've written Damian Priest. I haven't seen him win a match clean. And he's supposed to be this believable kick-ass dude. But
that leads to the point though of why I mean,
and again, you're not wrong. What's crazy is somebody at my work that watches wrestling, he's not as into it as us. He's kind of like a semi-casual. He said, is Damian Priest a good guy now? Because he asked me all the stuff to where, again, they're riding in a way to where they're trying to lean for Damian Priest to be a good guy. And just a little hints, it's just like with a TV show, they're doing it perfect. To where I am interested in Damian Priest, but I'd rather Braun Breaker should be on there over Damian Priest. Braun Breaker is the face of WWE, dude. He is the only thing they have to hold on to after Roman, Cody. When everybody leaves, dude, Trick Williams and Braun Breaker are the two main guys. They're the only 2 stars they have right now. Like, they're really coming up to where and what they're doing with Braun Breaker too. He needs to beat Sammy at SummerSlam. I love Sammy. Braun needs the Intercontinental title, and they got to stop having interactions with Braun Breaker and Ilya Dragunov. You need to save that shit. Do not show me that shit on TV ever again. I do not. Again, I love the matches, but one, I don't want to see Braun Breaker beat Ilya clean like they did like a month ago. This is something that they shouldn't have had an interaction until one of them had a title. And again, Ilya, and as crazy as I love Braun Breaker and he's the face, but Ilya's probably better than him. And so Ilya shouldn't be having all these TV matches where he's losing half of them. And I think, what are we doing with Ilya Dragunov? I don't like the 50-50 booking with the newer guys. They got to say, all the newer guys, you got to keep them as far away from each other until they're both main event guys.
We'll see. We'll see what happens with that. And we will see you guys for another episode, hopefully next week. But for this week, we are finishing up. I need you to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. We are trying to grow our channel. We're on the march to 2,000 subscribers. We are almost, I believe, at 1,600. So we are working our way steadily and wholeheartedly. So we want to make sure that you guys continuously tune in to the show, continuously follow the show, continuously share the show. And leave your comments, leave your remarks. We're planning some cool stuff, some watch-alongs come here real soon, especially something for SummerSlam, which is actually on my birthday. So we're gonna have a great SummerSlam. It's gonna be a good time. The beer will be flowing, I think, on my birthday.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So we're gonna have a good time with that.
1 beer. What? 2 beers. What?
A margarita. A Bloody Mary.
What?
Oh,
More
man.
beer.
But yeah, and we appreciate you guys from everybody here at the We Book It podcast. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks so much for tuning in. And we'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Peace.
See you guys.